This program brought to you by CalPro Research.
Veterinary industry trends and technology update. Hi, this is Larry Hill with CalPro Research, and we're excited to bring to you a system update. As you know, we've been working on completely rebuilding our system for the past year. So what I want to do today is go over what the new system looks like, our survey system, the look and the feel of it, just give you a highlight of that. And I also want to show you the new reporting system, some of the features that we have there. And then I really wanted to spend some time on industry Net Promoter Score trends that we're seeing. We're seeing some very fascinating things, especially during 2020. There was so much upheaval, and that really shows up in the industry trends. So I'm going to spend most of the time talking about industry trends. Let's go ahead and click over to the survey tool. This is what it looks like. Nice, clean layout. It is completely responsive for small screens like phones and iPads, as well as larger screens, laptops and desktops with big screens. We'll have your logo over here, and you can see that it's just nice and clean presentation, really easy to navigate. Okay, and then here is what the reporting system will look like. Again, it is completely responsive, works great on small screens, works great on medium-sized screens and the larger screens. Some of the features that I want to point out here, the charts are ready to go. Every time you're looking at these, you're going to be able to compare to industry trends. So you'll see your Net Promoter Score with the dots, and then you'll see the industry trends underneath it so that you can see how your score compares with the industry trends. Some pretty cool little feature here is you can turn lines off. So if the chart's too busy, you can literally turn lines off and turn them back on again to see what you want to see. So I think that's a pretty cool feature right there. Same over with this chart. So kind of fun to play with. And then we also have tabular layout. So this will show you a variety of different things, how many, like the tallies for in this case here. We're going to have different colors. Now, not included on the screen is blue, but blue is one of the colors. And that will be if you're exceeding the benchmarks. And then green is if you're meeting the benchmarks. Yellow is if it's slightly below the benchmark. And then red is if it's significantly below the benchmark. And this is all based on the bell-shaped curves that we've built, as well as standard deviations. And that's how the benchmark and the color coding will all fit together. So it's a complete revamp of what we've been doing in the past. You'll also be able to click on specific items. Now, if this report happened to have sites, like if it's a group of hospitals and you see multiple hospitals here, you could click on that. Or if this is a hospital report, it would show departments or doctors here, and you could click on that. So clicking on this will give you a full report for that particular item, whether that be a department or a doctor or a site, that kind of a thing. We also have a cross-tab layout, and so this will give us the ability to show you all the questions and then the net favorable scores over time. In this case, we have 2 months, but there may be up to 12 months rolling here. And then again, the color coding based on the benchmarks. Now, the benchmark in the reporting, it's specific to your context. So we have 5 different types of hospitals, and I'll get into that in a minute. And we also have service categories. So the benchmarks are all specifically laid out for the context of what your report is. So this is very sophisticated, actually. It's taken us a lot of time to build this and really think through it. Also, you'll have the ability to export data to Excel, look at comments over specific time periods. And when you click on these buttons, you'll see the comments laid out like this. You'll have the person, the name. There's some columns missing from this particular layout, but the person's name will be here. It'll be clickable, so you can click on it. You can see all of the answers to the questions that were asked. So you can be able to, you'll see each specific survey that way. So that's pretty neat. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the industry trends. Now we have our different categories that we are basing our benchmarks on. So that's colleges of vet medicine, companion animal, large animal, emergency critical care, general practice, community practice, as well as specialty private practice. And we have abbreviations for each of those, as you see spelled out here. Now those abbreviations are really helpful on the charts because it keeps the presentation nice and clean. Let's go ahead and turn some of these off and we'll just kind of walk through them here. Now here we have the bell-shaped curve for the colleges of vet medicine companion animal. Let's go ahead and add on the large animal. And you can see that our x-axis here is the net promoter scores. And then here on the y points to the sky, we have the percentage of the data distribution. So this is how you build a bell-shaped curve, and you can see how the scores come in for each of these 5 categories. Let's go ahead and add in emergency, general practice, and specialty practices, and you can see how they compare to each other. I'm going to keep moving here. And now we have the net promoter scores by year. We've changed the axis. So X is time on these charts, and then Y is the net promoter scores. And so you can see the net promoter scores over time for each of the 5 categories. I'm going to jump down to speed and convenience at check-in by year, and you can see what's going on by year for the various categories. Now here's where we see that 2020 COVID-19 impact. I'm going to roll back up here to the net promoter scores. You can see it shows up in a couple cases, but not all the cases had a dip based on 2020. But certainly convenience and check-in had a large dip in 2020, and makes total sense based on all the things you had to do with regards to not allowing people into the building, all the new policies and procedures you had to put in place. So a lot got impacted, especially this category. Here we have speed and convenience at checkout. You can see there was definitely a 2020 impact, but not as bad as check-in. What I find fascinating here is that you can see many of the different categories of the industry categories. You can see many of them were continuously improving in all of these categories. Here you could see on check-in, you can see improvement. You can see improvement in many of the categories for net promoter scores. So that's something worth celebrating, is that you have been improving. And yes, 2020 was a rough year, and we're seeing the impact of that, but there's still a lot to celebrate over the long haul. Value for price paid. This is what astounds me the most. You don't see it dipping hardly at all. General practice got hit a little bit, but all the others were able to maintain or improve even. This is astounding and definitely worthy of celebration. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to months. So here we have January, February, March, April, May. You can see in June, big hits in June for general practice, specialty practices, and emergency. Not as big a hit for the colleges, the veterinary teaching hospitals. You can see large animal and companion animal had some impact, but not as bad as the private practices. So that's pretty interesting in and of itself. Here we have speed and convenience at check-in. Looks like everybody got hit pretty hard here. Speed and convenience at checkout, you can see also a big hit, but as we saw on the annual charts, it didn't have as much of an impact, even though here on this screen it kind of looks like it does. But take a look at the tick marks here. We're going from 55 to 85, whereas over here we're going from 50 to 85. So it's not quite as much of an impact for checkout. And then value for price paid, again, astounding. Look at it, how flat it is. Even though there is some jitter going on here, it's pretty flat compared to what I would expect given all of the impacts that happened during 2020. So I think you need to celebrate this. See how this compares with your data. When our new system comes out, you'll be able to take a look at these and be able to compare with how your scores are comparing. But I think overall worthy of celebration. And I've talked to a lot of leaders in the veterinary industry, and I know that last year was very, very difficult. But I just want to encourage you. A lot of things got done very, very well, and the scores that we're seeing here across the industry, that just shows me how hard you've worked, how hard your teams have worked, and you really got to pat yourselves on the back, have some sort of level of celebration, and really celebrate the fact that you've done a great job through a very, very difficult time. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. We're always open to questions here. We love your feedback. Please send us an email at info@CalPro Research. We'd love to hear from you. And again, look for more updates from us as we roll out our new system. We'll let you know what the next steps are. All right, have a great day.